All right, welcome once again to our Saturday prediction podcast with RJ Bell at pregame.com. I give you, to begin my blazing five, and then RJ comes in from Vegas and tells us what the wise guys thinks. Hey, if you want to find the perfect hire first, you need to post your job on all the top job sites. You can now. ZipRecruiter.com. Post your job to 100-plus job sites, including social media networks like Facebook. Single click. Right now, my listeners can post jobs at ZipRecruiter for free. You got to go to ZipRecruiter.com/blaze. ZipRecruiter.com/blaze. All right, here we go. My blazing five.
Let's blaze it up.
Hope you can take the heat.
It's Colin's Blazing Five. Bears at Buccaneers.
The Bears at Tampa. Chicago getting 1.5 points. I love the Bears in this spot. First of all, we're at the midway point. Teams get banged up. Chicago's off a bye. I know John Fox isn't everybody's favorite, and he's sort of Dullsville, but I think he's a good defensive coach, and Chicago now is healthier than it's been. Tampa Bay, they have no home field advantage. They've lost 17 of their last 20 home games at Raymond James Stadium. I think Chicago comes in rested, healthy, and wins 30-21.
Dolphins at Chargers.
Dolphins getting 3.5 at San Diego. Like it. I love it. I'll take Miami. The Dolphins actually, since their offensive line got upgraded, have really become a power football team. Have you watched them? The Dolphins are 4th in the NFL in 10-plus yard runs. Cowboys, Titans, Bills are the only teams better. They have not committed a turnover during their winning streak, yet they have forced 4 turnovers. And San Diego's a team I just don't trust. I'll take the Dolphins 24-23.
Packers at Titans.
Tennessee, not a great home team, but they're getting 2.5 at home against the Packers. I'll take the Titans. Listen, Green Bay's offense, they have their moments, but they've scored just 2 second-half touchdowns, 1 TD pass in 3 road games this season. And since Week 5, the Titans rank 3rd in the NFL in points a game. DeMarco Murray's having an excellent year, 2nd in the league in rushing at over 800 yards. And Marcus Mariota, quietly, has become one of the great red zone passers in this league. 116.2 quarterback rating. Only Breeze and Stafford are better. Tennessee's one of those interesting, mediocre teams, but I'm going to take them at home 27-26 against the Packers.
Broncos at Saints.
I couldn't even believe this line. Broncos getting points at the Saints? Oh, come on. Denver looked awful on national TV and got pushed around by the Raiders. My favorite bet of the week. I'll take Denver plus 1.5. They're going to be playing with their hair on fire. They're one of the top defenses. They lead the NFL in fourth quarter scoring. And the Saints defensively are a mess, allowing 29.8 points a game. Only the Browns and the 49ers are worse. I get a significantly better roster. I get an angry team, a team that was embarrassed on national TV, a team that still feels they can win their division. And I get points. 27-23, I'll take Denver.
Cowboys at Steelers.
This game looks kooky. How can Pittsburgh be favored over the Dallas Cowboys? About twice a year, Vegas does this. I'm going Pittsburgh. Yep, I'll swallow the 2.5. First of all, Dallas is allowing in their last month of games quarterbacks to throw at a 70% clip. And Big Ben at home at Heinz Field in November and December since 2013 is 11-3 at home. Okay, don't watch the game last week for Big Ben. Coming off an injury and rusty. Now he goes back to comfortable Heinz Field. This is a Dallas team with a secondary, Mo Claiborne out, Barry Church out, and they don't have a great pass rush. This, for Pittsburgh, is a rebound game, a more important game, defending their home turf game. When they turn it on, they can play with anybody. Pittsburgh 31, Dallas 23. All right, time to bring in RJ Bell at RJ in Vegas, pregame.com. Last week I went 2-2-1. Let's start with this. Bears at the Bucks. Got to be honest, Tampa Bay's almost no home field advantage. I like Jay Cutler plus 1.5. What do the wise guys think?
You've got agreement on this game, Colin. And something else you should feel good about as an aficionado of Vegas is you've really beat the number on this one. Right now, this baby is up to the Bears, favored by 2, and you've got a ticket in your pocket, a pick, Bears plus 1.5. That is wise guy pride.
Yes.
Another favorite here of the wise guys, net yards per play. We talk about it every week. This is hard to imagine. Number 1 in the league, Atlanta, net yards per play. Number 2, the Chicago Bears.
2 teams in this league, the Bears and Washington. We don't think of as offensive powerhouses, but Washington, similarly to Chicago, they churn out yards.
But remember now, we're talking net yards per play. So it's how many yards Chicago gains versus how many yards they give up per play. So the net yards, this is literally saying the second best team in the NFL. Now, we know that's not true, but man, they're better than their record. You're absolutely right. Also, Tampa's home field, one of the smallest in the NFL. Last 31 home games, they've won straight up. They've won 6.
Yeah.
6 of 31. So you've got a ticket where the Bucks have to win in order to cover. History looks really good there. Bears
and Chicago didn't play last week. They come off a bye. That matters here against the young quarterback, I think.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And also the energy on the Bears is good. Jay Cutler, I had one wise guy tell me he's never seen Jay Cutler look so enthused, so engaged, so much of a leader on the sidelines like he was 2 weeks ago against the Vikings when the Bears upset them. I decided to do some reading, right? So I read some local Chicago papers, the beat reporters. Here's what I uncovered, right? If you look at the contract of Jay Cutler, if they would have cut him this year, it would have been $19 million in dead cap money.
Right.
If they cut him next year, $2 million. So literally they have to choose next year to pay Jay Cutler. There's really little to no dead money, and thus the sunk cost of the decision is over. Now it's, do we want to pay this guy one of the elite QB salaries in the NFL? I think odds are against it, and thus Cutler is auditioning for his next job.
Yep.
So I think we're going to expect this new attitude to continue at least for a while. One thing, a lot of optimism about Tampa entering the season.
Yeah.
Fallen way short, Colin, but Doug Martin, their running back, not a big name, super important to the team. His absence has been a big problem. Now he's back this week, but remember, first game back, he probably won't contribute as much as you might think. I think over the course of the rest of the year, the Bucs might trend up, but for this game, total agreement on the Bears.
Yep, Bears plus 1.5. All right, Packers at the Titans plus 2.5. I actually think Marcus Mariota, I'm seeing a star develop. I really, really like him, especially in the red zone. So I'm going to take the Packers plus 2.5 at home against Green Bay. What do the wise guys think?
You've got slight agreement here. Talking about Tennessee first is Mariota, I think you're right that he's trending in the right direction, but I think it's more about the running game. Right now, Tennessee is making a commitment to run the ball, to be physical, more physical than the typical NFL team, and Tennessee has the third most rushing yards in the NFL and the third most yards per attempt. So that's helping Mariota not have to carry the entire team. Speaking of that, Green Bay, lack of playmakers. All this talk about Aaron Rodgers, it really comes down to playmakers is what all the sharp guys are telling me. And the injuries and the hobbled players they've got making it even worse. And if you talk to the X's and O's guys, they will tell you that Green Bay has a vanilla offensive scheme.
Yeah.
Now, when Aaron Rodgers was in his prime, the playmakers were there. Vanilla was enough. Now it's not enough, and they don't have the scheme to kind of compensate for the fact that they don't have the playmakers.
And by the way, they're not dominant at home anymore.
Well, listen, I don't know if that's true generally because they've been so dominant at home. I know last week was a shock. I mean, I was shocked, and you were on it, so kudos. I mean, the idea that the Colts were going to dominate that game, Indy was really tired. They don't play well on the road, the Colts. Green Bay was rested. In the prior 7 weeks, they only had one road game, and their home field advantage, if you look since 2012.
Oh, yeah. The numbers are great.
29-10 straight up, one tie, and away below 500, 19 and 20. So think about that. We got a team when they were competing for Super Bowls every year that's been below 500 on the road. And now they're on the road again, and they also, without playing very well, and they know they have a tough schedule ahead because of all those home games that are past them. And a little more psychology here. Aaron Rodgers, and listen, you had an interview, I don't remember who the Packer player was, talking about California cool.
Greg Jennings.
Even during the high-flying years, there was some pessimism about Rodgers, a little bit of resentment. Now they're not playing so well. He's not playing so well, and he's calling the team out.
Yes.
After the game.
Projecting last week. Yes, I have energy. I don't know what happened to the rest of the guys.
Yeah, I think usually NFL teams with their back against the wall do well. I'm not sure that this team doesn't fall apart, and we really don't need that. We're getting points at home with your pick. Total agreement on the Titans.
All right, Broncos plus 1.5 at the Saints. I think Denver on national TV went out and not only lost to Oakland, really got pushed around. And I think Denver comes back really focused. This is a physical team. And for the first time since I can remember, they got pushed around the field by the Raiders. I think the Broncos bounce back. I will take them plus 1.5 at dangerous New Orleans. What do the wise guys think?
Disagreement here.
Wow.
You're on the other side of the line. Move big money on the Saints. And this is really an unfamiliar situation with Denver. First off, obviously, they only play at New Orleans once every 8 years. And whenever you have a quirky venue, and the Dome, especially New Orleans Dome, that's a quirky venue. And if you're unfamiliar with it, that's a negative. But here's something you're not going to hear about. Last 4 seasons, Denver has had a 1 o'clock Eastern kickoff only 6 times. So think, and that's this game kicks off at 1 Eastern. So they're playing in a place they never play. They're playing at a time they rarely, if ever, play. And speaking of excitement at home for the Saints, I mean, this is a big game, and this team is playing better than expected.
Yes.
And if you look at the Saints at home the last 5 seasons, ATS record over 70%.
Yeah.
Now, let's flip over to the Broncos on the road. We saw it last week. If you want to win on the road, you either, in the NFL, you must have an elite quarterback or you must run the ball really, really well.
C.J. Anderson's hurt.
Yeah, and you're making a great point, and we saw it against the Raiders. C.J. Anderson's out, and the backup Booker, there's a lot of sense, he's pretty good. He's had fumbling problems this year, and how do you know Denver's worried about that?
Yes.
They only let him carry the ball 10 times.
Exactly.
And the entire Denver team, a team based on offense or running, and defense, only rushed the Denver last week, 33 yards last week.
Yeah, but here's my thing. Boy, New Orleans defense could make Trevor Siemian look pretty good.
And if so, you win, right? But I tell you, running the ball, the Saints, they have a really bad D in general. Running the ball, they're right around league average yards per play against the run. So if you want to bet your money on Siemian, go ahead. But that's really what you're doing here, because unless Denver can just turn that running game around totally, you're betting on Siemian on the road in a dome, unfamiliar plays. One last thing, Saints offense, it's fast-paced, it's rhythm throws. When you have a great rush like Denver does, fast-paced throws, quick throws can hinder that. I think the Saints match up well. You've got disagreement with your Broncos pick.
All right, Dolphins plus 3.5 at the Chargers. Miami, over the last 3 games, is a physical team that runs the ball. You almost have to eliminate their first 5 weeks. I really like the way Miami plays now. I'm going to take them plus 3.5 at San Diego. What do the wise guys think?
You've got agreement on this game. And both teams are wise guy play on teams, meaning wise guys like both of these teams better than the average fan does. But we got to pick one of them here. And once again, I think it's about the ability to run on the road. When Miami's had a healthy O-line, they're 3-0, including that domination against the Steelers, a very good team, Pittsburgh. And Miami has young players that are trending upwards. And this is the time of year you look at these young teams and see which way the players are trending. Miami's going up. Miami's good as a road team. If all you did was play Miami on the road and play against them at home, so always play the road team in Miami games, your record would be 74-57 against the spread. So they do have a bias towards playing better, the Dolphins, on the road. San Fran, check that. San Diego, not a very good home team. Why is that?
They're a classic beach city. Jacksonville's nothing at home. Tampa's nothing at home. San Diego's nothing at home. And Miami often plays better on the road. There's just an apathy. I don't. What is the home field advantage for San Diego?
It's like 1.5 points, and you touch on it. There's other things to do. You got a lot of transient residents who aren't really committed to the Chargers. The team's not winning. I know the Wise guys like them, but they're below 500 this year, and there's a lot of speculation that they're going to leave San Diego.
Yep.
I mean, it all adds up, and that home disappointment, I think, leads into this trend. Last 10 times the Chargers have been favored by more than a field goal, 1-9 against the spread.
Now that's a real number.
Yeah, and that obviously applies this week at the 3.5 number. Now, I will say one thing about the home field. There was a resolution, a vote to keep the Chargers, and it went down this week, literally in the last 7 days. So here's the question, Colin. Is there a reaction of disappointment, as in, hey, it's energy sucking, we're not going to be here anyway?
That's what I think.
I think you're right, but there's also a small percentage chance, it's going to be fun to watch, that the team comes out fighting and say, we want to win your love, we want to win the support of the city. I lean your way, but I do think that's an X factor. But when you add it up, you've got agreement on the Dolphins.
All right, before I get to my final pick, Cowboys-Steelers, with rjbellpregame.com at RJ in Vegas, for everybody out there who is hiring, do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? You should all know by now that posting your job in one place doesn't cut it. To hire the perfect person, you got to hit all these job sites. How about do it with one click? ZipRecruiter.com. Post your job to 100-plus job sites, including Facebook. One click, post it literally everywhere. Any city, any industry, nationwide. Post once and watch the qualified candidates roll in to ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. No juggling emails, no calls to the office. Screen candidates, rate them, and hire them. Find out today why over 1 million businesses have used ZipRecruiter. Not just people, over 1 million businesses. Right now, my listeners can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free. All you have to do, go to ZipRecruiter.com/herd. ZipRecruiter.com/herd. All right, I have 3-1 wise guy agreement. Listen, everybody in the world likes Dallas this week. But Big Ben, I think he shakes the rust off. He's terrific at home. And I'm going to go against the hot streak of the Cowboys. I'm going to take the Steelers -2.5 to cover. I'm crossing my fingers. What do the wise guys think?
You've got agreement on this one, and I tell you.
Yeah, baby.
I'm impressed. This is a great contrarian play. Vegas is a market, just like a hot stock with hot earnings. People buy it like crazy, just like a hot neighborhood when it comes to real estate.
Sure.
Right now, there's all this talk about Dak, about the Cowboys, but there's more than just talk. The Cowboys have covered the spread 7 straight times. Now, that looks good on a piece of paper. I email you. It says 7-0 ATS. That looks good. But it's more than that. Think about the positive reinforcement around every time you bet the Cowboys, you get more money back. You win your money. So what's the response? Well, you're going to keep betting the Cowboys. Steelers, on the other hand, they lost in front of the world against the Ravens, and they didn't look good losing.
Oh, looked awful.
They lost in front of the world the week before against the Pats, and that's why this game's below a field goal. The market reaction, people not wanting to bet Pittsburgh, wanting to bet Dallas. And if you think about it, home field's 3. Yeah. Pittsburgh has at least an average home field, if not a little better. This line's 2.5. So what is that saying? That's saying that the bettors are telling us that Dallas is the better team. We disagree. Steve Fezzik, only guy to win the Super Contest twice, NFL expert. He has these teams tied, exactly tied. Actually, it's interesting, Colin. He has them as tied as the two best teams in the NFL behind the Pats, so tied for second.
So he likes the Steelers this much.
Yeah, and a lot of it is strength of schedule, right? Is Pittsburgh has a top 5 strength of schedule, and number 2, Dallas has the easiest schedule. So far, the teams they've played, the easiest in the NFL. You make a really good point about Big Ben. Historically, when he's played his first game back, he's gone back a week early. Yep. As a Steeler fan, he's a warrior. I love it. But his performance hasn't been good in those games. Second week back, he usually does better. Let's talk Dallas defense. And the Dallas defense, I think, because of the pace of play, of the offense has been so slow, they've hidden a little bit that this isn't really a great D.
No,
the
it's
Cowboys.
not. You can complete passes against Dallas, a lot of them.
And obviously, Steelers got a really good passing team. And if you look at the Steeler D, last week they gave up one play for 95 yards. Obviously, that's bad. Otherwise, their defense only gave up two 40-plus yard field goals. The other score was a blocked punt. So defense is young. I think they're trending in the right direction. You know, you and I agree on Tomlin. He lets this team get lackadaisical sometimes. But when their back is against the wall, man, oh man, Pittsburgh plays tough. Here's the trend of the week. You won't hear this one anywhere else. Pittsburgh-Baltimore, obviously the biggest rivalry. They played last week. When the Steelers do not cover against the Ravens, the next game, last 13 times that's happened, they've only lost against the spread the next game once. So this team doesn't sit and sulk after a disappointing performance. They tend to step up. We've seen that in many situations with Tomlin. We're getting the Steelers at home lane, less than a field goal, total agreement.
4-1. RJ Bell, pregame.com, at RJ in Vegas. I feel really good about my picks this week. Even the one the wise guys don't like, I like Denver. I honestly, I don't. And whenever I feel this good, bad things happen. But I feel very.
Yeah, I think you're getting a little cocky, right? You can't say you. I respect you're going to stick to your pick, but you should not be confident.
Okay, and I'm going to have low self-esteem all weekend.
Well, listen, 4 out of 5.
Okay, RJ, good talking to you, bud.
Thank you.